everyone, welcome to Nobel Forensics. I am SowmyaGajula. Here I am discussing about the crime scene and its management and processing along with the Locard's exchange principle and physical evidence. Before going to the crime scene management and processing, you should know what is crime scene. Crime scene, it is also known as scene of crime or scene of occurrence of crime. It is a place where a crime has been committed or a place where a crime has been reported, and not just that place but also where the physical evidences related to that crime are found. That is also crime scene. Like if in any case somebody do crime at one place and they place the physical evidences at another place. In that case, first one is the primary crime scene and second one is the secondary crime scene, and if there is any more, tertiary crime scene and so on. But these scenes are not limited to one place only. Yes, this is what scene of crime, not limited to one place only. They may extend to one or more places, and that places are not limited to immediate surroundings, may extend to wider areas, depend on the nature of crime. And coming to the scene of crime, it is divided into 5 parts. Not in all crime scenes, but larger crime scenes are divided into 5 parts, which are line of approach, point of entry, actual crime scene, point of exit, and line of retreat. If you observe that yellow diagram, this is the actual crime scene. Then line of approach, point of entry and actual crime scene, then point of exit and line of retreat. Larger crime scenes are divided into these 5 major parts for easy investigation purpose. And coming to the types of crime scenes, you all know that there is 3 major types, which are indoor, outdoor and conveyance. Indoor means simply the crime which is occurred under the roof, and outdoor means in the open place where there is no roof. Indoor, for example, house, car, and outdoor, road, field. Then if a crime occurred inside the building, then that is the indoor crime, and if a crime occurred above the building, like crime on terrace of the building, then that is the outdoor crime. And coming to the conveyance, it is in the vehicle, crime in the vehicle, like illegal trafficking, smuggling goods. These 3 are the major types of crime scenes: indoor, outdoor and conveyance. But you know one thing, there is also some crimes which have no crime scene at all. What are that type of crime? Yes, in cases of forgery, there is no crime scene. The only evidence is the document. Document itself helps as a crime scene, but there is no crime scene at all in the forgery cases. And also in cases of embezzlement, like cheating cases, there is no crime scene. And coming to the Locard's exchange principle and physical evidence. Before going to the crime scene processing, these 2 are the very important things to know. Locard's exchange principle, it was proposed by Dr. Edmund Locard. It is also known as theory of mutual exchange or Locard's principle of exchange. According to this, when 2 objects come into contact, there is always an exchange of material. It is also known as Locard's principle of exchange. So I added few examples for easy understanding. A person, if he walking on a loose ground, he leaves his shoe print there, and also he carries away some amount of soil on his shoes. See, there is an exchange of material. He is leaving his shoe print there, and also he is carrying some amount of soil from that place. So there is an exchange. And when a person walking through a garden, he may get some amount of pollen grains on his clothing, and also he may leave shoe prints or footprints there. So here also exchange of material. And if any person, that person touches any surface, he may leave his fingerprints there, and also he carries some amount of dust from there. So according to this Locard's exchange principle, definitely when 2 objects or 2 persons coming into contact, there is always an exchange of material. So that what exchanged, that physical evidences, if there are traces also, they may help for investigation purpose, for identifying the victim, suspect, perpetrator, and also linking the perpetrator, victim with the crime scene. That little evidences will help, so which are exchanged at the crime scene. And coming to the physical evidence, which is anything, any object, any body fluid, whatever, which will prove or disprove a point which is under the investigation, that is physical evidence. But it should have some physical or material quality, like physical dimensions, length, breadth, design, volume, pattern, weight. These all are the physical dimensions. That physical evidence should have these physical properties. And source of physical evidence, definitely at the crime scene, but not just crime scene. Victim and suspect also may carry some amount of physical evidences, like in cases of rape cases, victim may carry semen or blood samples from the perpetrator, and also suspect, like if he entered into the crime scene through breaking a glass door, then definitely he carries some amount of glass pieces on his clothing. So not just crime scene, victim and suspect also the sources of physical evidence. And coming to the scientist Paul Kirk, he is the author of the book Criminal Investigation. He described about the physical evidence and its importance, that whenever a person steps, whatever that person touches, wherever he lives, even unconsciously also, that little evidences will help as silent evidences against him. It is mainly in the crime scene, and not just fingerprints or footprints, but also hair evidences and fibers from the clothes of perpetrator, and any glass pieces if he breaks, and any tool marks he leaves, or any paint scratches, or blood or semen he deposits or collects, and these all are helps as mute witnesses against the perpetrator, and these evidences definitely present at the crime scene. Maybe little amount of evidences, but definitely present at the crime scene. If there is no such evidence at the crime scene, then it is definitely human failure to find it, but there should be at least some evidences at the crime scene, and which will help to link the perpetrator with that crime. And this was described by Paul Kirk. Then coming to the importance and significance of physical evidence, it is used to establish or disprove an event in a court of law, and it is used to provide one or more missing links in a chain of evidence. And also physical evidence provide a link between crime and its victim, and also crime and its perpetrator, to assist in screening the evidence and to exonerate the innocent persons. Not always physical evidence helps to link the perpetrator with the crime scene, but also it will help to exonerate innocent persons sometimes. Then physical evidence, it is to identify nature of material for identification purpose, and also to compare two substances for comparison purpose, like two fired bullets, whether two fired bullets are fired from the same firearm or not, comparison purpose. Identification means whether that red fluid is blood or not, identification, their origin. These are the importance and significance of physical evidence. Coming to the class and individual characteristics, what is the class? Possess class or group characteristics. It can only be traced into a group and not to a single source. Then individual can be traced to a common source with extremely high degree of probability. For example, blood. Blood is grouping into ABO, basic groups, that is class characteristics, and going for DNA analysis from the blood, it is individual characteristic, because with a DNA analysis we can individually identify the particular person. So that is the class and individual. Here I also added few examples. For fired bullet, twist, right twist, left twist, that is the class characteristic. And also number of lands and grooves, 6 lands, 6 grooves, that number also class characteristic. Coming to the individual, striation marks on the fired bullet, that helps us individual characteristic. With that striation marks, we can individually identify that particular firearm from which that was fired. These are the class and individual characteristics of physical evidence. Coming to the types. Physical evidence, it includes all items of evidences, whatever the fluids, physical evidences, impressions, stains, traces, marks, all. But they are broadly classified based on the crime scene evidences. They are movable evidences and fixed evidences. Fixed evidence means cannot be easily moved, like fingerprints on the walls, blood stains on the ceiling, tire marks. They cannot be easily moved. They need other techniques to collect them, like for fingerprints, lifting method, for blood stains, swabbing or scraping, then tire marks, cast method. These are the different methods for collecting them. We cannot easily move them. Coming to the movable evidences, we can easily lifted, collected and packed, and most of the evidences fall into this movable evidence category, like hair evidence, fiber, glass, soil. There is no need of any special technique to collect them. We can easily collect them. And coming to the crime scene management and processing, it includes 9 standard steps and must follow steps for every crime scene processing. And what are they? First responding officers or FROs. They are the only persons who view the crime scene in its original condition. And the protection of crime scene, it is definitely important. Protecting the crime scene with barrier tapes or vehicles and any other means for protecting mainly for the physical evidences. Then recording the crime scene or documentation, because not every crime will solve within few days or weeks. Some crimes may take longer time like years. So recording or documentation of crime scene will help for the investigation even after many years. Then searching the crime scene for physical evidence and proper collection, handling, packaging and labeling of physical evidences. Then sealing of physical evidence with authentication. Then forwarding of physical evidence, it includes the details about the physical evidence and also the nature of examination it required. Then maintaining chain of custody, it includes the every point, every step which is doing at the processing of crime scene. And the last step is crime scene reconstruction, reconstructing the events which are occurred during the crime. This is crime scene reconstruction, and it is based on the physical evidences present on the crime scene and nature of the crime scene, and also based on the laboratory examination results. That is crime scene reconstruction. These 9 are the standard and must follow steps for crime scene processing. And here we are discussing about the each step. First one is the first responding officers, FROs. Usually FROs are police officers, fire department persons or medical persons. And their duties, what are their duties? To assist the victim, and first and main duty is to assist the victim, and if victim need any medical treatment, then providing medical assistance. Then search and arrest a suspect. If there is any suspect still there in the scene of crime, then search and arrest them. Then detain on witnesses and preserve their objectivity. And protect the scene of crime with barrier tapes. And if the crime scene is very larger area or open area or any road, any public area, then cover it with the official vehicles. And protection means do not allow any person to smoke, drink or eat in the crime scene. And also don't allow any unnecessary persons. Even though are official persons, don't allow unnecessarily, because they may contaminate the physical evidences in the crime scene. Note and communicate with the investigating officer all movements, and if there is any alterations, that is also noted with the investigating officer. These are the main duties of first responding officers. And coming to the protection of crime scene, it is a duty of FRO, first responding officer, who arrive at the crime scene. First priority should be given to the medical assistance to victim and arresting the perpetrator. That is the main first duty. Then only going for the protection of crime scene. And physical evidence must be handled carefully, but sometimes it may destroyed because of natural causes only, like wind, rain, accident, and also by negligence. So focus on the physical evidence and protection of crime scene. Then coming to the recording and documentation of scene of crime. Investigating officer get only limited time to work at the crime scene in its untouched state. In that limited time only he do recording the documentation of crime scene, and that recording will help ongoing investigation, and also it helps for reconstruction and also for court presentation. It helps. 4 major tasks of documentation, which are note taking, videography, photography and sketching. Note taking is the continuous process from starting point to the ending point of crime scene. That note taking will help in the further investigation process, and videography, photography, sketching also helps in the investigation process. Then these 4 are necessary steps. There none is an adequate substitute for another. Like, yes, we are taking notes, so photography is not need. There is no thing like that. That 4 steps are in individual need. Then coming to the note taking, throughout the processing of crime scene, notes should be taken, and it includes notification information of the crime, then arrival information, scene description and victim description. Then crime scene team, the members who are involving in the crime scene processing, that all team also should be included in the notes. Then coming to the videography, it have a property of jury acceptability, so it helps in the courtroom presentation also. And first doing scene survey, then Videography should not include any members of the team or any equipment, and also do not record any voice discussions. And if there is anything need to add in the videography like details, then add an placard or spoken directly by the videotape operator only, but not record any other audio discussions in the videography. Then wide angle views, close-up views of evidences will cover in the videography of crime scene. Then use additional lightings. If there is low lighting conditions, use high ISO numbers. This is a previous question in UGC net. In low lighting conditions, using high ISO numbers. Then coming to the photography, there is a quote like one picture is worth 1,000 words. It means in the courtroom presentation of evidences or crime scene, if you say in different ways about the crime scene, then jury people, they may not get understand easily. But if you show few photographs of crime scene and evidences, they can easily get understand. So that one picture is worth 1,000 words. And immediately do photography after the videography or scene survey. Then doing general to specific guidelines like total photography to individual evidence photography. And the types of photography, there is 3 types: overall photography, mid-range photography and close-up photography. Every evidence should be take photograph in these 3 ways: overall, mid-range and close-up view. Then number of photographs are not limited in the crime scene. When in doubt, photograph. Then never doubt whether a photo should be taken at crime scene. It should always be taken, because definitely that photograph should help in the further investigation process. So photographies have more importance. Then coming to the sketching, it is the final task in the documentation. Like after note taking, photography, videography, the last one in the documentation is sketching after the photography. And sketch, it provides measurements of the evidences and indicating relative distance and position of different physical evidences at the crime scene. And sketch is the first visual record of the condition of crime scene. Yes, before sketching we do photography and videography, but sketch, we directly draw sketch at the crime scene only. So it becomes the first visual record of crime scene. Then there is 2 basic types of sketch, which are rough sketch and fair sketch. Rough sketch is without taking a scale but adding the measurements and accurate distances of the physical evidences. But fair sketch, which is also known as smooth sketch, finished sketch or crime scene plan. And sketching, it should draw at crime scene only, not at any home or any other office. It should draw at crime scene only. And distances should measure with the tape. Distances of evidences should measure with the tape, and suitable scale to indicate an sketch. Then direction indicated, usually north indicated by an arrowhead like this. This is how to indicate north, indicated with an arrowhead. And also sketch includes different buildings, temples, plants, indicating with different symbols, different standard symbols. And here are some, I included some bridge, temple, river, pond, tree, road with different symbols. They are indicating in the sketch of crime scene. And coming to sketch, the drawing of sketch with 3 perspectives, like types of drawing sketch at the crime scene: overhead or bird eye view, elevation or side view, and cross projection sketch. These 3 are perspectives of drawing sketch. Coming to the overhead or bird eye view, this is how to draw in the overhead view. See, it is a 90-degree angle view. That is why it is overhead or bird eye view. See, this is also overhead or bird eye view. It is a crime scene of at the car, in the car only. See, if you observe, there is a dead body backside of the car, and also there is footwear prints that all are in the 90-degree angle view. So it is overhead or bird eye view. It is a type of crime scene sketch. See, this is the second type, elevation or side view sketch. It looks like a view from one side. See, there is a blood stains on the steps. It was drawn like a view from one side. So it is side view sketch. Here you can easily understand. See, there is a kitchen area and a victim body and sitting stools. See, it is looks like a side view. So it is elevation or side view sketch. Then coming to third one, cross projection sketch. Whenever the evidences are present on walls and doors, ceiling, in the sketch, that walls and ceiling also should be included. So in this type of sketch is cross projection sketch, like blood stains on the walls, blood stains on the doors, or any stains, evidences on the ceiling, then that all should included in the cross projection sketch. See, this is a easy type, that floor and also 4 walls with windows and doors. This is a type of cross projection sketch. And coming to the taking measurements for physical evidences, there is 3 techniques are used to obtain measurements for crime scene sketch. Baseline or coordinate pair technique, triangulation method and rectangular coordinate technique. These 3 are the techniques for taking measurements at the crime scene. See, first one is baseline or coordinate pair technique. First, taking 2 standard points at the crime scene, like 2 trees and electric poles, like 2 standard points, taking and drawing a baseline between the 2 points and measuring the distances of evidences from that baseline. See, there is the measured 1, 2, 3 evidences from 2 trees, 2 baselines of 2 trees. See here, if you imagine this is a crime scene, there is a dead body, blood stain and footprints. Then there is 2 standard points, 1 tree and 1 electric pole. So in the baseline method, first to draw a baseline between the 2 standard points and measuring the distances of evidences from that baseline, like this. First dead body, then blood stain and footprints. This is how to measure the distances of evidences from baseline in the baseline or coordinate pair technique. Then in triangulation method, taking 2 standard points, same like baseline method only, but measuring the angle of evidence from the 2 standard points. So it is triangulation method. You will get the shape of triangle, so that it is triangulation method. If one evidence, like this, if there is more evidences, then measuring the angles of evidences from that 2 standard points. This is triangulation method. Then rectangular coordinate technique. In that, taking 2 baselines and measuring the distance of evidence from the 2 baselines. So you will get a rectangle shape. So it is rectangular coordinate technique. These 3 methods of baseline, triangulation and rectangular coordinate techniques are used for measuring the evidences to get accurate position of the physical evidence at the crime scene. See, if this is a crime scene, like there is a dead body surrounded with blood and there is another objects at the crime scene. If you imagine this is a crime scene, then sketch will be like this. This is a rough sketch, including the all evidences with their relative distances and including the labelings of that evidences. This is a rough sketch. Then going to the searching the crime scene for physical evidences. Before going for searching physical evidences, that point should be keep in mind are how to look for, where to look and what to look for. These 3 are the important. And primary purpose is to search for left behind evidences at crime scene while perpetrating the crime. That perpetrator who do the crime, while doing the crime, he definitely leaves some evidences. Unknowingly or knowingly, he leaves some evidences. And that left behind evidences are important for us to search. And there is several search methods, which are link method, spiral method, radial or wheel method, grid method, strip or line method, and last one is the zonal method. These are the 6 methods to follow for searching the physical evidences. First one is the link method. Link method means linking one evidence to the other evidence. Like if you found a red stained knife in the crime scene, then you definitely search for the injury on the victim body. So that one evidence is linking the other evidence. Like if there is a firearm injury on the dead body, then you will go for searching the fired cartridge case at the crime scene. So one evidence is linking the other evidences. That is link method. Then line or strip method and grid method, wheel or ray method, then spiral method and zone method. In the line or strip method, if this is a crime scene, then searching the evidences in a line manner, one direction to other direction and again in the one direction to other direction. This is the line or strip method. And coming to the grid method, see, first going in one direction, searching all evidences and coming and going in the another direction. Then spiral method, it is from inside to outside or outside to inside, or clockwise or anti-clockwise. Spiral method, searching. Then zonal method, it is suitable for larger areas of crime scenes. If the crime scene is larger area, then dividing into zones, and if that zones are also larger in size, then again dividing into sub-zones. Whenever there is a less number of investigating officers are available in the crime scene, then preferring method is zonal method, and this spiral method is very suitable method. Best crime scene search method is the spiral method. It is suitable for all types of crime scenes like outside crime scene, inside crime scene, outdoor, indoor, any type of crime scene. Spiral method is the best method. And coming to the wheel or ray method, if more than one officer is conducting the search, then wheel or ray method is suitable method. And grid method, whenever there is only one investigating officer is available, then preferring method is grid method. And liner strip method is suitable for when there is one or more investigating officer is suitable liner strip method. See here again spiral method and strip or line method. If there is two investigating officers, then if they are following strip or line method, this is how to going in the strip or line method for searching the evidences. And this is grid method, first going in one direction, then again going in the another direction. And this is the zonal method, first dividing the crime scene into 4 zones, and again the one zone is dividing into sub zones, and in that zones following the other methods like spiral method, liner strip method, grid method, again in the individual zones, first dividing into different zones and following other searching methods. Then collection, handling, packaging and labeling of physical evidence. And physical evidence should be collected, packaged, marked and preserved in consistent manner. And first preference is to given to transient, fragile and easily lost evidences. They are collected first, like biological evidences or the evidences which will get lost easily. That evidences should be collected first. Then if possible, evidence should be submitted as it is, like if there is a blood stain on the knife, then as it is submitted to the laboratory with proper collection and packaging. But it is not suitable for all evidences. So like any garment is large, then we do removing the evidences with forceps, wet swabs, scraping or cutting the area of the object. Like if there is a blood stain on the carpet or semen stain on the bed sheet, we may not collect the entire bed sheet or carpet. So cutting that area of the bed sheet or carpet and proper collecting and submitting to the laboratory with proper packaging. Then handling of physical evidence, that there is no such set of procedures for collection of all types of physical evidences, but each article should be collected with different ways, with bearing few points in the mind. That what are the points are: avoid the speediness of packing and use rubber gloves while handling, handle little as possible to avoid loss or damage, and prevent careless destruction at the crime scene, and maintain integrity of evidence, which means original character of evidence. Then ensure chain of position of evidence collected, means every detail while collecting, packaging, that all should be included in the chain of custody. Then there is no such kind of fast and hard rules, so avoid the speediness of packing physical evidences. These are the few handling measures, and here I also added few handling measures for individual evidences, how to handle them. Like if flat objects like wood or glass sheet, then they should be handled at edges only edges should be touched. And if there is tumbler, any bottles, then handle at rim or bottom should be touched using single finger at the top and bottom, so we may not get damage the fingerprints on the bottles or tumblers. Then daggers or knives, tips of knives and blade should be handled by tips of index and thumb fingers only. So because knife handles may contain the fingerprints, so we should not disturb them, so we handle it tips of the knife and the blade. Then firearms with the tips of fingers at butt and barrel ends only. Then fired projectiles lifted only with rubber tipped forceps. Then dust or powder should be collected with a brush or vacuum cleaner, and that too unused vacuum cleaner, which is especially using for the physical evidence collection only, not used vacuum cleaner. Then explosives and bombs, they should not be touched or handled unnecessarily. First confirm that whether it is able to explode or not, then only should handle them. Then blood, semen, liquids, chemicals, vomits, if they are in liquid content, then they should collect with the spoon. Then tampering items should be packed separately and securely. These are the few handling measures of different types of physical evidences. Then coming to the packaging. After collection, packaging of physical evidences. Properly padded with cotton or thermocol. Then each article should be separately packed and labeled. Then all packets belonging to one case should be enclosed in a box, but sometimes size of the various articles make this impossible. Means all packets should be packed in one box, means that evidences belongs to one crime are supposed to pack in one enclosed box, because laboratory persons, they may get different evidences from different crimes. So for easy understanding, should pack in the one single box, but it is not always possible because some evidences are larger in size, but if possible, pack in one enclosed box. Then labels do not paste it directly over weapons, tools and clothings. Then top side of the box of evidence, always indicate that top of the box and handle with care. Then exhibits sent through special messenger by post with proper address and label. Usually they send exhibits through post, but postal regulation kept in mind while dispatching firearms and explosives, and less priority for firearms to dispatch through postal. And it is a previous question in UGC in 2017. Which of the following evidences are having less priority for dispatching through postal? Which are firearms. Then coming to the sealing of the physical evidence. All parcels should be sealed by dispatching officer and should not be opened without destroying seals. Means that sealing should be like that. No person can open that physical evidence without destroying the seals. And this is what authentication. For authentication purpose, they do sealing. And all knots, thread knots should be sealed. And the impression of seal should be legible and kept in a safe custody. And then the facsimile of seal should be always be sent along with the forwarding letter. And coming to the forwarding letter. And a letter of advice should be separately forwarded to the expert through registered post or any special messenger in a sealed cover. And forwarding letter should contain the following particulars: name of the police station, district, state, which are the basic details of crime. Then crime registered number and section of law. Then brief facts of case, place and circumstances of seizure. Next, description of articles, description about that physical evidence, which is red stained knife, like that. Then nature of examination required. If the description of article is it is a red stained knife, then nature of examination required is definitely whether that red stain is blood or not. If blood, human or animal. If human, then what is the blood group, then what is the DNA, then do for DNA analysis. That thing is the nature of examination required. Then forwarding note of officer through whom articles are forwarding. Then name of the investigating officer. And facsimile of seals. These all should be included in the forwarding note. And also certificate of authority to examine the evidence. These all are included in the forwarding note. Then maintaining chain of custody, which include all steps what are doing at the crime scene up to the submitting physical evidences at the courtroom. Chain of custody must be established whenever evidence is presented in court as an exhibit. Like if the evidence A, it was recognized at the crime scene like this, and it was collected like this and preserved like this, sent to the laboratory through this person's like this, then it was examined like this, then it was presenting in the court as an exhibit like this. These all details belongs to that evidence is chain of custody. And recording location of evidence, making it for identification, proper completing of evidence's submission for laboratory analysis. What happened to it from the time of finding at the crime scene to its presentation in the court. That all are included in the chain of custody. Then coming to the crime scene reconstruction. It is the last and final step for the crime scene processing. Scene of crime reconstruction is process of determining or eliminating the events that occurred at scene of crime by analysis of crime scene appearance, location and position of physical evidence, forensic lab examination of physical evidence, and these three things are important in the reconstruction. Crime scene reconstruction involves a scientific crime investigation, means not just the physical evidences, location and position, but also with the forensic lab examination. Yes, if there is a red stain, then forensic lab examination only confirms whether it is blood or any other stain. So based on the forensic lab examination also we do reconstruction. It involves scientific crime investigation like interpretation of patterned evidence at the scene of crime, then lab testing of physical evidence, systematic study of related case information and logical formulation of theory. These all will help in the crime scene reconstruction. It is simply reconstruction of the events which are occurred during the committing crime. These all are reconstructing based on the physical evidences present at crime scene and also lab examination reports. Based on these all reconstructing the events of crime, which is crime scene reconstruction, and this is the last step at the crime scene. Yes, here we discuss about the crime scene management and processing along with the Locard's exchange principle, physical evidence and crime scene definition, types of crime scenes, physical evidence, its importance, significance, and also steps involved in the crime scene processing like first responding officers, protection of crime scene, recording of crime scene, searching for the physical evidences, their collection, handling, packaging and labeling of physical evidence, then sealing of the physical evidence, forwarding, maintaining chain of custody, and lastly crime scene reconstruction. These all are steps which I discussed about, and I hope this video will definitely help you.